Okay, hey everyone, and welcome back to the Ring of Fire. This time we're talking about the last WWE pay-per-view of the year, WWE TLC and S. Yeah, I guess if you want to go by the whole tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs, because I find it weird that they actually even know how stupid it is by doing the chairs, dot, 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 and stairs. Like, if you already know it's stupid, then why do it? Anyway, getting right into things. Um, okay, briefly, I want to touch on the dark match. Oh, I guess, yeah, the pre-show match. It was actually pretty good. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. The pre-show should be up on the network if you have got it. So give it a watch. Anyway, the opening match, which apparently went over 16 minutes, was Dolph Ziggler versus Luke Harper for the Intercontinental title, and holy shit. This wasn't so much a good match, which is hilarious because Ziggler was like, I'm going to put on the best match of my career. It wasn't really necessarily a good, technical wrestling match by any means, which is funny because some ladder matches start that way and then the ladders get involved. This was pretty much as pure spot fest. And both guys paid for it because Ziggler got legitimately busted open, on several parts of his body. He had cuts and grazes on his friggin' the side of his chest. Luke Harper's arms started bleeding in several places over the course of the match. Dolph Ziggler generally got busted open on the face with a guillotine, a ladder-aided guillotine, I should probably mention. Um, but yeah, these two guys fucked each other up. Like, I still don't really give too much of a fuck about Dolph Ziggler, but, I'll give him props. Both men, really. Props for going through that entire match, despite the fact they must have been in agony. Like, it almost looked like Luke Harper legitimately could have broken his arm, or just generally tweaked something in his arm anyway. And that was pretty early in the match, and he went the whole distance. So either he didn't break anything, or it was generally a minor enough injury that he could power through it. Granted, I've seen wrestlers have broken wrists and finished matches, but, it generally didn't look like it was bad enough that the ref was going to stop the match. Because, let's face it, these days WWE would have stopped the match, and they would have been right to. I would have been disappointed, but at the same time, it's like, well, if they kept going, that injury could have been a hell of a lot worse. So, yeah. Ziggler wins purely because it's his hometown, I guess. Or he's out of the doghouse. I don't know, one or the other. Which bothered me because Luke Harper only won the title about a month ago. So, and I don't like short title reigns. So, yeah. Like, if they're necessary because the champion is injured or something, fair enough. But this kind of short title reign kind of pisses me off. Anyway, next up was the Usos. Technically, the Usos versus Miz and Mizdow for the tag titles. This was alright, but I don't remember it being all that great. I can barely remember anything from it. That said, I think even I was that not giving a fuck about this match that I actually kind of missed the finish, where basically the Usos were kicking the shit out of Miz and Mizdow so much that they just kind of left, or at least they went to leave, and then Miz got himself disqualified, so they keep the titles, but the Usos technically won via DQ. So, yeah. I guess that was just their way of stretching the storyline out. So, fair enough. Next up was The Big Show versus Eric Rowan in a steel stairs match. That happened. Anyway, next up we have John Cena versus Seth Rollins. And no, I'm not making a joke. I'm not going to start talking about Big Show Rowan. Aside from the fact that that was so stupid. Anyway, Cena versus Rollins. That also happened, but it was actually not a bad match. Honestly, the funny thing is when there was like right near the end, there's essentially a bit of a double finish where they throw each other through two tables set up next to each other. And I was like, you know what? If this ends in a double decision where they like where it's a draw, I would honestly have been totally fine with that. But because I guess they needed a decisive winner because Cena's number one contender spot was on the line, even though really it would have protected both guys. Cena wins lol because Big Show comes out and starts attacking Cena. So Roman Reigns makes the save and basically helps Cena win. So what does that say about Cena? Is he getting that weak? Like, are we supposed to believe that the only way John Cena could have beaten Rollins? And yes, I know fucking Big Show had come out, but without Big Show, it looked like he could have lost. So, they actually I know they had friggin' Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury out there, but still, you get my point. Superman needed another Superman to to beat Seth Rollins. But yeah, not a bad match. I didn't realize that it went over 21 minutes, but apparently it did, so I guess that must have been paced pretty well. Because it really didn't feel like it was going that long, unlike the Big Show fucking Eric Rowan match, which felt like it went for an eternity. And now I'm talking about it. Fuck. Anyway, Nikki Bella versus AJ Lee also happened. I pretty much have nothing to say about it, though. And I'm going to totally skip over the next two matches because fuck everyone. Ryback defeated Kane, Rusev defeated Swagger. Both matches had basically nothing going for them. At all. The chairs match is a fucking dumb idea. And it wouldn't be if they would use the right guys with it. Use small guys who can spring off the chairs and use the chairs in unique ways or something. It wouldn't be bad, but they always use big guys with that shit. So it's always boring and shit. So, yeah. And Rusev, yeah, again, he retained the title because, yeah. Okay, the main event. And the, I guess, actually 8th match on the main show, anyway. Bray Wyatt versus Ambrose in a TLC match with absolutely nothing on the line, but fuck it, it's Bray versus Dean. Why not? I really like this match. There's no time limit, by the way, of how far this went yet. But yeah, this match was pretty good. I'm not sure if it was really. It's a tie between this and Cena Rollins on what the match of the night was. I'm pretty much just purely going to say this because pretty much everything else was shit aside from like three of the gimmick matches were fine, but the other two was just flat out bullshit. So again, and that's a funny thing. A lot of people were bothered by the fact that this was a pinfall TLC match. When those have been on video games for years and no one really seemed to care. Because, like, really, I didn't not give a fuck. There was nothing on the line. And what would you rather do? They make some bullshit thing to hang up there? I mean, the only thing that I could think that they could really throw in there is like maybe a title shot of some kind. Not necessarily a main event title shot, but even like an Intercontinental title shot or a United States title shot or something. A, I don't know, a tag title shot for fuck, why not? That's all I can really think that they could have put up there that would have worked. Otherwise, it would have come off like one of those stupid gimmicky something on a pole matches. So yeah, this was a pretty good match. The only downside to it, really ironic, like funnily enough, was the fact that Dean Ambrose dropped the elbow off a ladder 3 times. The first 2 times I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. But then when he went to do a third time, it's like, really? Is that it? Like, is that all this match is? Just him dropping a fucking elbow on Bray? 3, like, honestly, I was hoping that Bray was gonna knock Ambrose around, put him on the announce table, and then do a diving senton from, like, not all the way up, considering how high that ladder was. He probably would have killed him. But, you know, halfway, even if he'd missed, Bray just doing something off a ladder would have been nice as like a change of pace. It would have still been someone diving off a ladder, but it wouldn't have been Dean doing the same thing 3 times off a ladder. So, but you know, that aside, and the funny thing was, is I almost thought the finish was like, I thought it was kind of a botch, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. He would have just, if that wasn't supposed to happen, or at least it was more so. I thought he was botching it when the cable seemed to get caught or something, and he was like, oh, and then he ran again and it blew up, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And of course, that was obviously supposed to happen because if it wasn't, the refs would have just stopped the fucking match. The refs would have just dove in and been like, the ref in the ring already, and the ref on the outside would have dove towards him and just been like, okay, what the fuck was that? But yeah, and then Bray basically wins by taking advantage of that and hitting him with a pretty painful looking Sister Abigail. So that's 2 wins in a row in this feud for Bray. 1 by disqualification and 1 actual pinfall victory. I'm kind of glad that Bray won, but honestly, I would have been fine with either guy winning. The winner of this match did not matter to me. It was just how good the match was. And I'd say this match lived up to what it was supposed to be. Could it have been better? Yes. But again, the only thing I'd really change would have really been just basically making Bray do something. Even if Bray dropped an elbow, I wouldn't have given a fuck. Just Bray doing something off a ladder would have been nice. Whether he missed the attack or not. Like, have Dean laying, like, sideways across the friggin' table instead of the way he put Bray there. Then have Bray go for a diving senton. Have Ambrose move and Bray go through the table. So, like, Bray kind of either moves the ladder so it's kind of over the barricade, or just kind of does it on and like turns sideways so he doesn't clock his head on the metal bit of the announce table, because that would have like really fucked him up if he'd done that, because it seemed to fuck Dean up just by hitting the edge of that. Yeah, the only match worthy of finisher kickouts, even though an earlier match had one. But yeah, all around a pretty mediocre pay-per-view, I'll say. This is nothing. Like, it's only been a few days since NXT Evolution. And holy shit, that still shits all over this pay-per-view. The only 3 matches, I'll put it this way, there's only 3 matches that I really actually liked. The opening match, Ziggler versus Harper, Cena versus Rollins, and the main event, Bray versus Dean. Those were the only 3 I liked. Out of, if you count the dark match, a 9-match card. If not, an 8-match card. So that's 3 out of 8. Or if you count the dark match, 4 out of 9, because I actually like the New Day versus Goldust and Stardust. So again, if you didn't catch the kickoff thing, go watch it, at least for that match, because it goes for just over 10 minutes. So, you know, it's not just like a 2-minute thing. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. Hopefully this didn't go too long, because I really didn't want it to. At least I skipped over like 3 matches, so if that tells you how kind of mediocre this pay-per-view was, aside from a few matches, then damn. If you have the network and you didn't watch this live, skip through. Watch the matches you think you would like, but do not watch the whole thing. Skip Big Show Rowan, skip Ryback Kane, skip Rusev Jack Swagger. Maybe you'll like Nikki versus AJ, but despite the fact that Nikki has been improving, that match really didn't live up to what little expectation I had for it. So that was kind of depressing. So yeah, I'm Thomas Fireheart. I will see you next time, hopefully for the NXT review, which I guess this will be the last NXT of the year. So I guess next week will be Backlash 2005. Even though it's Christmas week, but I don't really give too much of a shit. I will put something out on Christmas Eve if I have to, but yeah. I will try to put out something next week. I doubt it will be NXT, because NXT would be falling on Christmas, so I doubt they're doing something for that. Unless it's like a pre-tape thing they did that was a Christmas special to air on Christmas Day, and they blatantly say it's not taking Day. I don't know. Anyway, I'm Thomas Fine. I will see you next time.